Hey, good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where you're calling in. Maybe some of you, it's even good evening. This is John Jantz with Duct Tape Marketing, and I want to thank you for joining me for what will prove to be a very fast-paced online presentation today called Total Online Presence, a 12-month blueprint. I got the idea for this particular topic. As some of you know, if you're following me, I've been talking about this idea of a total online presence and upon integration. In fact, we've created a small group coaching program that I'm conducting and that many of my consultants are conducting that's based on this idea of a total online presence. And in running some folks through that coaching program in beta, it really occurred to me just how much there is that's a big part of trying to build this total online presence. And so one of the things that I have long been a proponent of is this idea of living by the calendar, and just the fact that what we're doing here in marketing, what we're doing here online, it never ends. There is no done. For some of you, that's the good news. For some of you, that's the terribly horrible news. But I decided to kind of take this calendaring approach with the idea of saying this is a long-term game, and really what you need to do is get in the habit of just kind of hacking away at it month by month, and just keep pushing the ball forward, whatever metaphor you want to use, keep making improvement, so that you can, in a year from now, look up and see how far you've actually come, rather than going into overwhelm. I do want to tell you that we are recording today's presentation. I know many people ask that. I will also share a link with you at the end where you can get the slides from today. One of the things that this format really lends itself to is a lot of note-taking. What my goal is I'm going to go month by month through what I suggest could be an annual plan for you. Now, there are some of you that are overachievers, and this will be a week by week plan for you, and you'll get done in 12 weeks instead of 12 months. But the goal is that you download this worksheet if you haven't, and you'll see that it actually asks you to record no more than 3 ideas for each month or topic that I talk about. And I'm going to apologize up front that I'm going to go very fast today. For some of you, your ears might bleed with the amount of stuff to do that I'm going to share today, because today is all about tactics. It's all about tasks. It's all about giving you assignments that you can tackle month in, month out over the course of some period of time that you choose. So I want you to download that worksheet if you have not yet. And I know multitasking can be difficult on these calls, but download that if you have not yet. We did send it out ahead of time. And then just commit to, as I've cruised through this content, commit to 1, 2, or no more than 3 action steps that you absolutely commit to taking either this month or this week or whatever time frame that you give yourself. But rather than stressing out about the 6, 7, 8 that I share for every month, you pick a couple top ones. And in fact, one of the things I want to help to do to reinforce that is we're going to go over this annual plan. So a lot of people break years into quarters. And so at the end of each quarter, theoretical quarter in today's presentation, I'm going to give a book away, and I'm going to give away one of each of my 3 books, and then Seth Godin's, my friend Seth Godin's newest book, The Icarus Deception. And all I'm asking you to do is for those of you that do this sort of thing, to tweet during the presentation. Only if you hear something that really excites you, that you're going to do, that you think was a great takeaway, I want you to tweet what those takeaways are using the hashtag, and you'll see it at the bottom of every slide, DTMTOP. My handle happens to be at Duct Tape, and I just want you to share that with your community. Share the things that you're going to do, the action steps that really seem like great takeaways for you, and we will just pick random tweeters from that hashtag and reach out to you and say that you won one of my books. So, and actually, you feel free to, if you want to put those in the question box, that's fine. Here on GoToWebinar, over in your control panel, you'll see the tab that says questions. Feel free to drop any questions that you have about the content today, because we may have a few minutes at the end to cover some questions. But also, if there's key takeaways or just testimonial comments. You want to say how great this was for your knowledge and your learning, feel free to drop those into the question box as well, because we love hearing that stuff, and we love it. It helps me know what makes this valuable to you guys. I'm going to warn you up front that I'm actually going to talk at the very end briefly about this small group coaching program that I have created that essentially surrounds this topic, but I deliver it in 8 live sessions with a very small group. And again, at the end of this presentation today, I'll tell you how when our next group is filling and how you might get involved with that next group. But let's get into the content, shall we? So this program is called Total Online Presence Blueprint, and the Total Online Presence for us really is this idea of being a hierarchy that starts with content and then organic SEO, email marketing, social media is frankly right in the middle of it, then goes to online advertising, mobile and location, analytics, and conversion. And as far as I'm concerned, one of my topics of the year is going to be this idea of integration. I believe that integrating all of these elements has become more important than any of the elements, mastering any of the elements on their own. And so that's the idea behind this this cycle that you go through this hierarchy and then you start over again. But let's get into the months. So we could say this is January, or we can just say this is month whenever you start. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rattle through a list of things, action steps, tasks that I suggest you do in this first month, and then all the way through month 12. And again, this will follow a bit of that hierarchy of the things that I think should be done first, and so there is an order to this. So the first one is to create what I call a listening station. I think it's become extremely important that we now are monitoring the things that are being said about ourselves, about our markets, about our competitors, our customers, and really creating, using this rich set of tools we have now to get a lot smarter about ways that we can actually help our customers. So setting up Google Alerts for your brand, your name, your products, pick 5 key journalists that you want to set alerts for, and obviously your core competitors. And the idea is then Google will just send you emails just anytime that those things are mentioned, and that's just one of the pieces of the puzzle that you need to be listening to. Another great option for those of you on Twitter is to create something that is called a Twitter list. Anybody who has a Twitter account can create a list, and all you're basically doing is dumping people in a bucket that for whatever reason, because they're key customers, because they're key journalists, because they're key industry influencers, but creating lists allows you to more effectively filter out the 99% of the stuff that you don't really care about. So using a tool like TweetDeck or Hootsuite, you can actually just view in the background each of your lists and really be able to follow what's being said or what people are saying. Again, it can be as simple as just creating a list of your customers, and it just gives you a very quick check-in to see if your customers are talking about a new product, a new hire, about something great in their life. This is the kind of stuff we have to be following. I happen to use both Hootsuite and TweetDeck to actually easily monitor on my computer or my mobile device mentions of my name, my brand, and again, the Twitter list that I talked about previously. You want to set up Google Reader. I believe that one of the great ways that we listen is to listen to, again, the content, not only that's being put in, say, social media or social networks, but what about our customers' blogs? What about industry blogs, or just blogs that we find interesting about the topics we care about? Our competitors. I use actually a tool called, Alltop, or a service called Alltop, which aggregates all kinds of blog content in specific industries. You can also go to Google Blog Search, and there's another tool called RSS Search Engine, and these tools will allow you to actually find blogs that are in topics that you care about that you want to then follow. I read over 100 blogs, or at least scan over 100 blogs, and I think that it is one of the things that really makes a lot of these keys or these tools that I'm going to continue to talk about come together. A couple other little things. You might want to add a little browser plugin called Reportive. It's spelled a little bit differently. It's on the screen there. And what it allows you to do, and that's for Gmail. Now, if you're an Outlook user, you want to add a tool called the Outlook Social Connector. And what these tools do is allow you to see publicly available social mentions and participation from anyone that sends you an email. So you get an email in your inbox, and maybe it's from a customer. And all down the right-hand sidebar, you can see what they're talking about on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and Facebook. It just makes you so much smarter. And again, a lot of these tools are meant to kind of run in the background so that you're not have to go out and run around and search. All of this content's just delivered to you. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, you look into a tool like Sprout Social or another fairly new tool called Mention, and they have $19 and $29 a month paid accounts that really dig up a lot of this for you and kind of bring the things like alerts and Twitter mentions and the things that you might find, blog mentions, things that you might find on all of these various tools. These paid services are actually set up to really aggregate all of that or bring all of that content together into one place for you. So that's month one. Hopefully you got your 3 ideas from that list. And again, don't worry, this is being recorded. You're going to get the slides because I'm going to continue to move very rapidly. Number 2 is something I call, we're going to work in month number 2, we're going to work on something I call your content foundation. The idea behind this is that this is really content drives so much of what's going on in marketing these days, and certainly what's going on in online marketing. And so we have to spend a great amount of time setting up a systematic approach, or at least a very strategic approach to what content we put out. I think everybody on this call today actually is given into the fact that they need to be producing content, but I think we have to do it in a very smart and strategic way, or it just becomes an overwhelming task. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to actually create what I call a total content system. So what you're going to do is you're going to research key content themes. Now you do that by brainstorming with your own staff, asking your customers, thinking about the questions that your customers ask you, using a tool like the Google Keyword Tool. Now from that research, what you're trying to do is create a list of 12 monthly foundational themes. These are going to be your topic themes for the entire year. I do this in my business. I've written about this. In fact, if you want to get more detail on this particular aspect, Google the total content system and duct tape marketing, and you'll go right to a post where I really outline this. I believe that this is central to every business getting their content part right. So you're going to create the theme. So for example, my theme for the month is referrals. For the month of March is going to be sales. Maybe another month we'll have technology. So we have a base theme, and what we're going to do then is we're going to build everything we do all month with that theme as kind of a filter. So then what we do is you go out to a service or a tool like Alltop, as I mentioned earlier, and you find blogs related to each theme, and you start bookmarking blogs for your theme, say for January. You use Google Reader and you subscribe to those. You visit a site like Quora, which is a question and answer site, and you find the topics related to your themes, and you can subscribe to those themes as well. What we're doing is we're actually building a library or a delivery system of content so that you have fresh content coming in all about your themes. And the first step is to build this delivery system so that you can then start getting ideas, curating content, sharing other people's content as we move deeper into this. But the first job here is to create your monthly themes. So now we want to expand ways to distribute this content that we're looking for. So we want to think about adding video. We want to think about adding a podcast. We want to think about creating transcripts from the videos we create. We certainly want to think in terms of compiling, say, related blog posts into an ebook. This is how you really feed this content monster, is that you have this focus of a theme, and then you just start bringing all these assets together. I use another tool called Scoop It. It's on the screen there, Scoop IT. What it does is allows me to set up topic pages. Then they have a little what's called a bookmarklet, so that anytime I'm out there surfing the web and I see something related to, say, my topic of referrals, I bookmark that, and it actually creates an aggregation of all the content around that theme, because I assign it to that page. And then I can actually I can embed those topic pages. I can share those topic pages in my newsletter. It just really allows you to start building all kinds of momentum and really depth and breadth around your topic. I do also suggest in the content, because what we're doing with a lot of this content by creating, and I'm going to talk about that for next month, how you're going to get even more out of this, but what we're doing is assembling content that we are going to write, that we are going to use, that we're going to publish, that we are going to share, and all of that is going to lead to enhancing our search engine optimization as a major component of our total online presence. So I'm going to give you as an assignment this month to also set up Google and Bing Webmaster accounts for your, and anyone can do it, it's free, but these will be used for your, so you can understand better the search engine optimization aspects of all this content that we're going to be producing. So we're on to month 3, the last month of the quarter, and I'm going to talk a lot about here this idea of shareability. I think has become extremely important. In fact, it's more important than likes and follows, as far as I'm concerned, is that you're creating stuff that people want to share. This is how you're going to draw links. This is how you're going to get traffic. This is how you're going to get email subscribers. And I think that developing better habits of sharing is an essential piece here. So what I want you to do now is to think in terms of, for this month, we've already reading blogs with our Google Reader or some RSS reader. Now we want to supplement it with blogs that might be of interest to your clients. So the first round was to think about blogs that be of interest to you, that you might share. But now start thinking, if you work in certain industries, are there industry groups of blogs you should subscribe to that you're going to start sharing that content with your clients? I want you to look into a tool called Buffer. I want you to create a Buffer account and get in the habit of sharing 10 to 15 good pieces of content in all of the networks that you participate in. So let me explain this step. I subscribe, as I said, to over 100 blogs. I have a morning routine where I will go through, and I actually do it on my phone. I use another tool called Reeder, R-E-E-D-E-R, which is an iPhone app. That allows me to, I plug in, I read all the blogs, or scan through all the blogs, but then it allows me to do things. So if I want to tweet the content, I want to email one piece of content, I want to share content to Buffer, I can do that right away. And so because my routine is to do that in the morning, well, I don't want to share all 10 or 15 pieces of great content that I found all at one time, because I'll overwhelm people, I'll miss people. And so what Buffer does, as the name implies, is it buffers the content out. It allows you to share at one sitting 10 or 15 things, but then have that spread to your networks on an every 2-hour basis or so. You want to create a list of 10 potential guest blog targets. So in other words, these are blogs you would like to write for because they're in your industry, because they're well read, because you would love the exposure. So the first step is to create that list, and then you're going to start figuring out ways to engage those blogs, to start participating on those blogs, so that you could actually then earn the trust and the right, perhaps, to suggest an article that you would write for guest blog. Now, I want you to also think in terms of your own blog, and think in terms of creating a list of 2 or 3 guest bloggers for each of your foundational topics. So last month we created this list of 12 topics like referrals and sales and content marketing. Well, now let's go out and find some people that could actually write guest blog posts for you for each of those remaining foundational topics you have. That's one of the ways that you're going to really enhance and create this momentum around your focus topic for the month. I want to make sure that you add there are many, but one that I use is a plugin called Sociable. What it does is that all my web pages, all my blog posts now have icons that allow people to easily share any of the content that they come across. You also want to add those icons to any of your email marketing. It might be your email signature or your email newsletter. Make sure that people have the ability to tweet your content, to like your content, to share your content with their fans and followers. The last piece for sharing is I want you to think in terms of, again, I'm making an assumption that you have an email newsletter. We're going to talk more about your email capabilities in a bit. But for this month, I also want you to start identifying some potential list partners. And what I mean by that is 2 or 3 other newsletters that you read that are obviously not competitors, but that probably have your same target market in mind, and think in terms of ways that you might partner with them so that you could promote each other's newsletters, so you could promote each other's lists. So maybe you could actually find a way to share content with those folks as a way to really be a substantial way to continue to build your list. So we're starting month 4, and so the first quarter's over. So for one random tweeter, hopefully you guys have been using that hashtag DTMTOP, and hopefully you've been finding some things that you're going to commit to doing this quarter, this first quarter that we talked about. And so we're going to choose a random tweeter that has been tweeting along with us using the hashtag today, and we're going to send them the Seth Godin's new book, The Icarus Deception. So you'll have 3 more chances for that, so keep getting those tweets in there. So now we're up to month 4, and now we have one job this month. You're going to create what I call a point of view ebook. This is going to be, you may end up ultimately creating 8, 9, 10 ebooks at some point in the year or some point in your marketing and business existence, but I want to start with one. And what I mean by a point of view ebook is an ebook that people want from you, that communicates how you're different, that really outlines your process and your unique ability that you bring, or your products bring, or that your company brings, that people want to share with people want to exchange their email address for. I found that one of the best ways to create a point of view ebook, an ebook that people want, is to think in terms of a process or your overall process of how you get people results, and to create a list type of ebook. So for example, by far and away, it's been downloaded now hundreds of thousands of times. I created an ebook called The 7 Steps to Small Business Marketing Success. Every month, about 1,500 new people download that ebook. We also have another. In fact, we've created a whole library now of ebooks, 7 Essential Stages of a Total Online Presence. What these do is they provide a tremendous amount of education, and hopefully, I like to think, a tremendous amount of value, but they also communicate what we do in our approach in a way, and our point of view, how we believe that marketing is done, and how we believe that the world of small business operates. And so these tools are tremendous sales tools for us, while allowing us to capture lots of leads. So look at your current content and determine if you have maybe 6 or 8 blog posts already written, or that you've written around essential topics that have to do with your business, maybe your theme topics we talked about, and you could actually compile those with a little bit of editing into an ebook. Think in terms of the future content that you would need to would allow you. So if you come up with this list idea and it mirrors your themes for the month, think in terms of, you may actually create an ebook. If you're thinking ahead, you may actually be able to create an ebook in 4 or 5 months of just planning the right content that's going to go on your blog, intentionally knowing that you want to compile it in this ebook. It's one of the easiest ways to get a tremendous ebook and lead capture tool built without actually adding to the work that you're doing, because you're just going to plan on it. I would tell you one other little tip. If you want to find some ebooks that have already been written on topics, go to Google, search any topic, and after your search phrase, add the term file type :PDF, and you'll actually turn up in Google searches that will only be PDFs. You might actually find some people that would love for you to co-brand and share that content and share their content. So you may be able to turn up some great ebooks or some great content that somebody else has already written and would willingly share. Again, I want you to look for 3 to 5 strategic partners for ebook branding campaigns. So the idea behind this is once you create your incredible ebook, for example, the 7 Steps to Small Business Marketing Success, we have now shared with dozens and dozens of other companies that have very large small business followings, and we've allowed them to actually co-brand that book and put it out and send it out to their communities. So another great way to use this ebook as a tool that's going to build your brand and allow you to reach out to other people who know they should be creating ebooks and really do it for them. All right, so step number 5, or month number 5, we're going to dig into, we've been talking a lot about creating content. We're going to dig into what I call this content delivery platform. So one of the things that you absolutely want to start doing now, again, my hope is that you've been blogging consistently, but now we're going to get serious about it. 3 to 5 times a week on your themes. So now this could be original content. This could be one of your guest posts. This could actually be a collection of 3 or 4 of the curated content that you've found. I want to encourage you to think in terms of adding a podcast. A podcast is just a glamorous way for saying audio content that you record. There's some great information out there. I would encourage you to look, if you're thinking about this, I would encourage you to look up the Podcast Answer Man as a website that will help you there is some technology that will help you do this better. Tremendous way to help you find guests related to your monthly themes. I had this month referrals. I had Bob Berg and Bill Cates and Michael Port, all published authors that great information, great interviews about the subject of referrals. So it really enhanced my theme. You want to think in terms of a newsletter with curated content. About 2 years ago, I switched over from being all my content in my newsletter to kind of snack size, pointing out other people's content. Well, you can do this obviously around your theme. You can do this just by finding, following the blogs that you follow and just going out there and finding 5 or 6 stories for the week. And I will tell you that people want this kind of curated snack size content, and if you become a source for somebody that's producing it, then it makes or not just producing it, but you're filtering it, you're aggregating, you're saying here's the good stuff. People truly appreciate that. We're all so busy now that making sense of some of this information that's out there has become a valuable asset. One of my favorite Google Plus tools is Hangout live to YouTube. Another great way to deliver content. A Google Plus Hangout is nothing but live video chat. You can invite people, you can have it be very closed, or you can stream it live to YouTube. And the reason I love this from a practical standpoint is that it allows you to, what Google does is it shows it to the audience that shows it live on Google Plus, it shows it live on YouTube to whatever audience you choose, but then it automatically records it and archives it on your YouTube channel. So it's a great way to easily produce video content. Then you can get transcripts done of it. You can do a lot of things with this content, but I just love the automatic mechanism. I've had a tremendous amount of success using that. I'm going to jump around a little bit on content delivery. The first page of that was really kind of this core stuff, but I want you to also now, particularly those of you that have done some of those core things in content delivery, you're blogging consistently, start looking at Instagram as a tool to tell your stories visually. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. The growth over the last 6 months particularly has been phenomenal, as a lot of particularly under 30 set is jumping off of Facebook and onto Instagram, and because they prefer this visual experience, and plus Facebook has gotten very square, of course, with all of us old people on it now. But it's a great way to start telling your stories visually. Facebook bought Instagram, so there is some integration anyway. Focus on delivering content into your Facebook news stream. Don't pay so much attention to all the widgets and bells and whistles and things you can add. Add great content to your Facebook news stream. That's where people actually interact with it. Upload your presentations to any presentations, sales presentations, webinars, events that you do. Upload those to a place like SlideShare. In fact, I'll share with you today's presentation actually lives on SlideShare now. I'll show you how you can get it. I already talked about this Scoop It curation tool allows you to really, so you've created these topic pages. Well, think about adding those topic pages. You can actually embed them into your website. You can start sharing them in your email communications. The key is to take this content that you're producing, and I learned this long ago, that one of the keys is to take all this content you're producing, repurpose it, find other ways to use it, find other ways for people to interact with it. That's the idea behind sharing it on Facebook, on Instagram, in podcast, in video format. I have found that, that you can take the same piece of content and put it in all those different formats, and it means something to a different audience. So don't think in terms of, oh, they've already read that or already put that on my blog, so why would I now record that as an audio? There are people that want to interact with your content in different ways, and I think you really do yourself a disservice if you're not making it available in those other ways. It's also a very practical way to turn lots of content around. Okay, we're on to month 6. Month 6, we're going to talk about something called landing pages. Landing pages are simply, just as the name implies, the place where people land to do a very specific thing. So they're different than, say, your blog or your homepage, where you want people to navigate and find everything that they might find. The idea behind a landing page is it has one purpose and one purpose only. So I want you to think in terms of, for this month, we're going to create landing pages for a lot of things. We're going to create a landing page for your newsletter sign up. Now, you may actually have a form that somebody can sign up for your newsletter in your blog posts or on your homepage, but we want to also create a page that you can promote, that other people can promote, that the only thing people would come there is to learn why they would sign, the value of signing up for your newsletter. I happen to use a WordPress plugin called Premise for this, for creating. My entire site is built on WordPress, and so I like using Premise because it makes it very easy to override my theme and create landing pages that don't have the navigation and don't have all of the distractions that the rest of my theme does. Also want you to look at creating a landing page for any of the ebooks that you are promoting. I want you to look at creating landing pages for any online events. An event like this that would have a solo purpose, and that's to get people to sign up for an event, online or offline. Your landing pages benefit from getting really good at creating short video, what I would call sales messages. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell a product or a service, but you might sell why somebody would sign up for an event, or why they would download your ebook, or why they would sign up for your newsletter. Once you create these landing pages, we have to go into the process of testing them. And that's one of the reasons to use a tool like Premise, or another great paid tool is called Unbounce, because it allows you then to start testing multiple headlines for your landing pages, testing your calls to action, or otherwise, what's in it for me, or what do you want me to do? And by testing these, you can actually find, in some cases, a newsletter sign up. We've done this before, that for whatever reason, we change one or two things about why they would sign up and how they would sign up, and we can double our conversion rate. So once you get these landing pages set up, you want to really get serious about testing them. There's one last little tool I want to tell you about that I think is a great use for landing pages, and that's for getting testimonials and referrals. We use a tool called Wufoo, and it's just a form building tool, and you can create a Wufoo form that says something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that you would refer us to your friends, neighbors, and colleagues? So this could be delivered to somebody after they make a purchase, after some period of time where you just want to go back and measure satisfaction. But what you can do with this form tool is, dependent upon their answer, you can respond accordingly. So if they say 7, 8, 9, the form automatically sends them to a page where they can actually give you a testimonial or a referral. If it goes on the other end of the scale, it sends them to a page that says, well, gosh, what did we do wrong? Help us understand how to do it better. So again, landing pages, very, very useful tool that you need to start building into your arsenal. And again, we'll maybe start this month, but you'll come back and continue to do this throughout the year. Okay, so we've finished the second quarter. So again, remind you, tweeting DTM, TOP, talk about the things you're going to do, the takeaways you're getting, the action steps you're putting in your little worksheet there. And we're going to randomly draw somebody to get a copy of my latest book called The Commitment Engine, Making Work Worth It. So let's move on to month 7. And did I lie? I told you this was going to be fast moving. Now we're going to get into your email communication and really think in terms of revamping it. I think people totally underutilize what it is that is available from email communication. So I'm finding that I'm missing a slide there. So I'm gonna get to the content that's on this slide, but there's a couple points I want to make before it. The first thing we're going to start doing with your email is we're going to promote. So we created your content system, right? All of your themes, and now we're going to start bringing that curated email content from other sources that you've created, maybe from your podcast. We're just going to start collecting that and making that the backbone of your email communication. Again, I already talked about this idea of finding ways to repurpose your content into videos, audios, ebooks, articles. I want you this month to consider creating one email course that is delivered in a series of emails. Another form of delivery that people, the email service provider tools make very easy to create, something called an autoresponder series, where somebody comes and they sign up, and maybe once a month or once a week or over the course of 7 days, they're going to get a series of emails that tells them how to do things, much like this month-by-month format. I want you to think in terms of your email campaign, building what I call a reverse email campaign. What this does is, a lot of times we want to send out emails, or we want to design a campaign that says, here, do this, now go to this, now go to this, to try to move people along to where they might buy something. What I'd like to suggest is you start in reverse, and that your first thing you plan is, what do you want the person to do 90 days after they made the purchase? What's the follow-up 45 days? What's the follow-up on the day of the purchase? And by working backwards, what I find is it forces you to create a better customer experience, rather than just trying to get somebody to buy, or just trying to get a lead, and then hacking together the follow-up after the point. Consider creating email-based training for your internal staff. Another great thing about this this autoresponder series is you can actually hire new staff, set up one time a lot of the things that need to be communicated, either about their position or the company, everything that's going on in the marketing with the company, and you can actually have it delivered by an email autoresponder service. The last piece for email is, I want you to think about cleaning up your email lists. Again, the email service providers, many of them, Infusionsoft, Constant Contact, Vertical Response, Aweber, iContact. A lot of the email service providers have created ways for you to clean up old email addresses, to clean up emails that constantly bounce, obviously to purge email addresses that are no good anymore. Some of that goes on anyway, but doing what list folks will call hygiene on your list will create much more responsive lists, but it will also make sure that your email is getting delivered more effectively, because you're not having frequently sending out emails that nobody reads. We're going to move on to social network profiles and tackling those this month. So I have very set prescriptions for a few of them. I'm going to make assumptions that you're on LinkedIn, and that you're on Facebook, and that you're on Google Plus and Twitter. So I'm going to make some very specific direction for this month. My experience is that people can need to complete their descriptions and the links to their LinkedIn profile. Social search is upon us. A lot of the networks, Facebook just came out with announcement that they're going to start allowing more and more search internally. LinkedIn does it for their advertising, and actually as a way for people to find people by title and descriptions and keywords. My belief is that getting those profiles more complete is going to be important. The next step, one of the areas that I see people really do incomplete, they want to put logos and do all kinds of fancy things on their pages, but they don't complete the about page. So again, keywords and descriptions and links, make those things as rich as possible, because that's going to be a piece of the Facebook search. This one's a technical one, so I'm not going to go into it other than to say this is important. And Google author equals REL attribute for Google Plus, and I wrote an article about it. Dozens of people have written about it. It's become a really, I believe it's going to be how Google is connecting and enhancing search based on the author of content. And so if you're writing content on your blog and people are searching, do a search for really something you want to know how to do, and you see those little images, pictures of people and their links to their Google Plus page right in Google search, and I think that's only going to get stronger. For Twitter, I would say add a branded header graphic to your Twitter profile. And this is the thing that comes up. It comes up on Twitter, but it also comes up in your when people are using the app on the mobile apps on the go. And again, I've written an article about that. Dozens of people do. If you want to know exactly how to do it, just Google branded header graphic or Twitter header graphic, and you'll probably find my content or something else that somebody else has written on the specifics for how to do that. All right, we're on to month 9 now. We've enhanced some of our profiles. Let's talk a little bit about ways to enhance our integration and engagement. It's essential that you create and follow a routine to amplify all of your content. So when you do that Google Plus Hangout, when you write a blog post, when you do your podcast, even when you put out a newsletter and you archive it online, that you're promoting it in Twitter and you're telling people about it on LinkedIn and you're sharing it on Facebook and in Google Plus. These are all places that it just has to be part of. When you hit publish, it has to be part of your follow-up routine. So you have to create that. What is the way? What are the tools you're going to use to do that? Many people use a tool like Hootsuite that allows them to publish to all of those as well. I actually like to go individually to them. It takes me about 5 minutes more, but I personalize the way in which I share depending upon the network. Focus on 1 or 2 primary objectives in your social media participation. So for a lot of people, what they try to do is get on there and do everything. Start off in your social media participation. One great way to enhance it is to focus on your customers. Follow your customers, make groups of your customers, lists of customers, and really start getting a hang of interacting with your customers. As far as I'm concerned, I think that can be one of the greatest ways for you to get value out of any social media participation, but it's also a great way to learn in an environment that's going to have payoff. I would suggest that you find and like 10 Facebook pages, again, of strategic partners, of influencers, of brands that you like, but it's really a great way for you to start learning what people are doing effectively, to start interacting. Once you like a page, you can actually do things on your page. You can do things on their page. And again, I'm not talking about spammy things. I'm talking about sharing and interacting in ways. But the biggest thing is I think it starts this habit of interacting with other pages as well. This one is not so much a task as a direction. Think in terms of sharing your ideas, sharing the things you care about, the things that you believe in, why you do what you do, instead of just constantly sharing your pitches. I will tell you the stuff that I interact with the most and that I see other people interacting with the most fits into that category. I would encourage you to join this month, month 9, at least 10. I'm giving arbitrary numbers here to just try to give some specifics around it, but at least 10 LinkedIn groups that have active conversations. Don't join the ones that just all anybody is doing is selling their goods and spamming the community. Look at ones that have a lot of interaction. In fact, look for ones that maybe even have guidelines against promoting your products and services, so that you'll start finding. First off, it's when you belong to a group, you can connect more easily with people in those groups. You can share content. You can interact with people in those groups. Can be a tremendous way to create engagement. We're going to expand Twitter lists for you this month and ask you to create a potential list of potential strategic partners that you could actually create as a list. Think about creating one piece of gated content, and all that means is you've probably gone to a page and it says like us to get this content. It's an important way to get more interaction. It's not the only way. You have to be sharing good, useful, educational, free, no strings attached content, and once you're doing that, you'll earn the right to actually get more likes using even more content. So using a tool, look into a tool like ShortStack is a great tool that allows you to create content pages or tabs on Facebook. Think in terms, the last piece on this, of merging your online and offline social networking. So if you go to an offline event like a Chamber of Commerce event, be prepared when you come back, if you've met some people there that seem interesting that you wanted to exchange business cards or you did exchange business cards with, think in terms of connecting now with them in LinkedIn or in Facebook or on Twitter, so that you can more easily follow up and start sharing and engaging. It's a really a great way to speed up and deepen offline engagement or offline network. All right, I believe we ended. Did we end another quarter? We certainly did. We're on to month number 10, and for this month, we're going to give away for those people tweeting out what they're going to do or the takeaways they've gotten so far, their main action steps using DTM TOP. We're going to give away a copy of the referral engine, teaching your business to market itself. So we got one more book giveaway, but let's charge ahead here, month 10. Um, Now we're going to get into conversion. We've got content, we're spreading it, we're in Facebook, we're doing a lot more things engagement-wise. Let's really focus on how do we then take this additional traffic that we're getting and the engagement we're getting and really start honing in on the real goal of all of this, getting more customers. The very first step is if you haven't done this, and in some cases people have done this, but they're not really doing much with it, you've got to add some analytics tool. I love Google Analytics because it's free and it's extremely powerful. Once you add that, you can merge it with your Webmaster accounts and with your AdWords accounts so that you really are able to hone in on exactly what's going on in all of your advertising, all of your promotion. You want to set up goals. That is a piece, a report basically in Google Analytics where you can say, okay, I want to, if I've got a landing page, I want to measure how many people come to the landing page are then converting, which, you know, for a newsletter sign up means they're signing up for my newsletter. So if you create a few of those for your ebooks and for your newsletter, it gives you it starts giving you the data and the insight to actually what's working. And from there, you can then start doing your tests. They have another tool called Visual Funnels. So, for example, in many of the things that we do, I want somebody to sign up for my newsletter in which I will promote a ebook, in which I will promote a webinar like this, in which I will at the end promote a purchase or an enrollment or some other end game conversion. And what Visual Funnels allow you to do is put all of those steps in a funnel and then be able to measure how many people are moving through all of those steps with you. You want to check out tracking links. You can use a tool like Bitly, or Google actually has its own, so that for any link that you create, it could be in a newsletter, it could be in a billboard, it could be in a magazine, obviously it can be in an email. It will actually allow you to really keep track of all of your various campaigns. So you'll know not only did somebody come and complete that step, but we know exactly now where they came from. And it just it's the Google URL tool, and it just really allows you to add a bunch of extra data at the end of your all of your links so that you can get some more information. One of the things that I find really interesting is when I started honing in on traffic conversion channels. And what I mean by that is Google Analytics allows you to very easily segment where your traffic's coming from and then look at what traffic's converting. So I find some really interesting things about the fact that that Facebook folks convert at a much higher rate, say, for example, than Twitter traffic does. So it allows me to then really drill down and figure out why, first off, but also figure out how to enhance that. So looking at, I want you to really, for this month, I've given you a goal of coming up with understanding your top 3 conversion channels. You want to think in terms of ways to explore, to personalize content. There are some tremendous tools out there right now that things like 4Q or Get Smarter Content or Survey Funnel that actually allows you to ask people questions when they come to your site, and based on their answers, direct them to specific areas of your site. And obviously, if they're finding the content they're looking for, they're going to convert at a higher rate. I see a lot of sites that still do not have search on the site. Google Custom Search is a very inexpensive tool, or the WordPress search box is actually, or search functionality has actually gotten much better. Look in terms at creating a user testing test. This is for about $150. Usertesting.com will actually go out and get 10 or 12 targeted suspects to go through your site and give you feedback about a specific routine, about what they found, about what elements didn't make sense. You want to think in terms of adding engagement tools such as click to chat. We use a tool called Olark so that when people come on and they have a question, they can actually talk to somebody in my office. You'll be amazed at how much that leads to conversion. Companies organizations that need to schedule people In other words, people come in for appointments using a tool like Schedulicity on your sites. Another great way to enhance conversion. Month 11, we're going to talk about advertising. One of the things that I think a lot of people, dismiss pay-per-click advertising in some cases because they don't understand it. It seems complicated. It's actually can be somewhat complicated, but it also can be a very easy way for you to test other things. So I love it for testing ad headlines, for testing conversion. So you can run multiple ads very inexpensively, very quickly over a short period of time, and know how your pages are converting. So let's say you create landing pages and you're going to do all these other things out there to advertise this landing page. Well, you can use Google AdWords as one way to very cheaply test your conversion. Don't forget to link your AdWords account to your Google Analytics account. That way you'll be able to look all the way. They have a mechanism now by doing that so that you could go all the way from a keyword, from an ad to what keyword generated, all the way through which are the highest converters. It's amazing how often sometimes certain ads, certain keywords get lots of clicks, but those people don't convert. And then you'll have something that looks like it's low performing, but a high percentage of them are actually converting. You've got to know that information. I would recommend this month that you take one of your foundational content themes, and create a campaign around driving traffic to an ebook or a webinar or something that you've created that matches your theme. And the reason for doing this is we're enhancing search engine optimization, we're enhancing conversion, you're learning how to use Exact Match, which is a type of AdWords or matching tool, so that if somebody types in an exact match, very, very, very related, obviously related, exactly related to what your keywords, then they're going to find your content. It's a great way to really start building additional momentum around. You can do it once a month, quite frankly, but around your themes. Look into Facebook offers and sponsored content by Facebook. I have had tremendous success using very low cost Facebook offers to drive people to free content. Today's webinar is actually an example. I used an offer just for a couple days. I think I spent about $60, and it added an additional 250 or so enrollees to today's webinar. All right, the final month, mobile friendliness. So again, we all know that more and more people, at some point we'll get to 100% of people will have a smartphone in their pocket at all times. They'll take it to bed with them. They'll certainly take it when they're out there on the go. And so there's some things that, even if we're not ready for the full suite of mobile marketing, there's some things that I think we absolutely need to do, and I'm going to put them in month 12. First one is to make our content mobile friendly as quickly as possible. Easiest way to do that is your blog or your website to add if you're using WordPress, to add a WordPress plugin. WP Touch is a free or low-cost plugin that automatically makes your content a little more mobile friendly. It doesn't have a lot of style, but it's you can have it up and running this afternoon. Another option is to really start looking at redesigning your, or at least considering what is called a responsive theme. I happen to use a custom child theme on the Genesis framework. You can get themes, Genesis end themes from StudioPress. And what these responsive themes do is they respond, so they change the design depending upon the device that's trying to look at it. And I think that that's where we're really headed. Now, some businesses, a restaurant, for example, needs to highlight a very specific content. So somebody on a mobile device is probably not looking for the website of a restaurant because they want to read their blog content. They probably want directions, they want the menu, they want the specials, they want the happy hour. So a tool like Duda Mobile, this D-U-D-A Mobile, does a really good job with creating what I call highlight sites. So it allows you to highlight the content. You want to claim at the very least, claim your business location on Yelp, Foursquare, and Facebook, so that people can check in and start sharing that they've checked in at your business. And then the last piece is to explore SMS, which is another term for text messaging. I know a lot of people are very, very opposed to it, but it can be a tremendous tool. There's a growing set of people that want to communicate that way. For example, when I go and speak at an event, people want my slides, and what I will do is I will share a short code that if they text me a message, it'll give them a link to my slides so they can download my slides. But I'll also start a conversation right then and there that says, oh, and by the way, send your email address to this, or respond, I'm sorry, with your email address if you like, and I will also send you my weekly newsletter. So you're not only giving people the slides that they want, you're giving them the ability to actually give you their email address and subscribe. So think about these tools in that manner and accomplishing the things that you want to do rather than simply writing them off, particularly short messaging. Many people write it off because they think of it as a very spammy technique. But again, I'm telling you, there are the under 30 set, and I can speak this because I have 4 daughters under 30. It's a growing in the way that they want to communicate. So you're not simply forcing another channel, you're actually facilitating in a way that people want to communicate. So that's my rapid fire 12-month romp. Hopefully I didn't hurt too many people with that, but my goal was to give you at least a dozen or more things to go away with and go to work on right away. The slides for today can be acquired at slideshare.net. That was one of the tools I talked about today at that URL that you see available there. Now, I want to, as I said, I want to tell you about this small group coaching program that I'm starting the next group February 5th. We keep these very, very small. There are 8 live sessions with me, so you get on a call like this, but there would only be about 10 of you. And I'm focused specifically on the coaching and consulting businesses. I want to run as close a vertical group as possible so that you can all help and share and support each other. And with those 8 live sessions, you also get a complete online portal that has video messages, audio, ebooks in there, resources, action plans. We update this thing real time. In fact, we're adding, almost on a weekly basis, new content to it. So here's the deal for any of you that are on the call. And again, we have 10 spots. We've already sold 3. It looks like. I'm going to share. The program is structured to follow the online stages I talked about. A lot of the steps that I talked about today are explained, or at least the links and the resources are part of that program. You'll have a login to an online portal that you'll be able to keep for as long as and continue to log on, continue to grow even after our 8 weeks are over. So here's the deal. The group is limited to 10, just coaches and consulting practices and businesses. It's going to go 8 sessions, starts February 5th. The cost of the program is $1,497. The link that you see on your screen right now is live, and when we get to 10, we'll shut it off. And I know that we've already, as I said, we've already taken a few in there. So I appreciate you coming today. I think we've probably exhausted questions. The time that we have for questions, I apologize. I knew we were going to be pushing it today. Again, we'll contact, we have one last winner now of people that is tweeting their action steps, things they learned today using DTM TOP. We're going to give them a copy of my first book, the revised version of my first book, Duct Tape Marketing. So I really appreciate all of your attention and time and support. And I look forward to working with those of you that decide they want to join our small group coaching programs. You can see there's a ton of information in this, and the folks that went through our beta have really helped us refine it and really package it in a way that I think will help you take your coaching consulting business to the next level. So again, thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you on another one of these, listening to your or reading your feedback from this. In fact, you may, if you have feedback that you want to share in the questions, go ahead and put that in there. We always love it when people tell us what we're doing good, and we appreciate it when they tell us what we're not doing so well. Do that, and look for an email tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, with the archive to this, and again, the slides and all the things that we've put together to help you grow your business. So take care. Thanks, everyone.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.